Gold is in a huge bull market, obviously. We're hitting record highs in every currency. We're about to hit a record high. I'm pretty sure that we'll hit a new all-time record high next week, if not on Monday, Sunday night. So record highs in gold. That is a bull market, right? Bull markets keep making record highs. The gold stocks are all in bear markets, right? They all dropped more than 20% from their highs, and they haven't recovered. So they're still in bear markets. So you have gold at all-time highs in a huge bull market, yet you have the gold mining stocks that should be the primary beneficiaries of the gold bull market, and they're all in bear markets. What does that tell you, right? Investors have got everything wrong, right? They're buying what they should be selling, and they're selling what they should be buying. The market's going to explode, I think. I think we're getting ready for it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's paying attention to it, but the fundamentals are great. Certainly, the gold stock investors are not paying attention to it, even though the gold stocks had a good week.
In today's news recap, gold poised to overtake record peak as dollar drops on Trump remarks. Gold prices climbed over 1% on Friday, closing in on its all-time high hit in October as a weakening dollar on U.S. President Donald Trump's push for lower rates and tariff uncertainty drove the metal towards its fourth straight weekly rise. Spot gold prices, which have added 2.7% so far this week, are a mere $17.3 away from the record high of $2,790.15 hit on October 31. One factor certainly seems to be the drop in the U.S. dollar. Some of the biggest factors that are driving it are associated with President Trump talking tariffs, said Bart Mellick, head of commodity strategies at TD Securities. Trump is at risk of elevating prices, and I think the gold market perceives perhaps a higher inflation and possibly a central bank that's more accommodative. In this climate of uncertainty, zero-yield gold continued to shine as a reliable hedge against inflation and instability, while it remains particularly appealing in a low-interest rate environment. At the World Economic Forum on Thursday, Trump called for an immediate reduction in interest rates. The dollar hit an over one-month low, making bullion less expensive for foreign buyers. Trump has said tariffs on Mexico, Canada, China, and the European Union could be announced on February. 1. A short covering rally has boosted spot prices, but ETF flows remain choppy ahead of the Fed meeting, the bank noted. Traders expect the Fed to leave rates unchanged at next week's meeting. Spot silver was up 0.8% at $30.67 per ounce, and platinum rose 0.6% to $948. Palladium gained 0.1% to $190, $992.75, hitting its highest since November 25th. All were poised for weekly gains. Now we'll show you the best clips of the latest interview. Don't forget to subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss out our daily recaps. And check goldsilverstacks.com to get your Stacker's Handbook, the ultimate guide to stack gold and silver, packed with strategies to trade the gold-silver ratio and get more ounces and build wealth over time so you don't have to rely on market commentators to make your investment decisions. Enjoy the episode.
But I think the big story on the week was the U.S. dollar, gold. Nobody's really talking about that. The dollar index was down for the second week in a row. And this week was a big drop, about 2% drop in the dollar index. Now, it's still pretty high in the scheme of where it was before Trump was elected. We're about 107.5, but we got above 110 last week. So we're about 2.5% below the high. The euro is back at 105 after being, I think, slightly below 102 when it hit the low. But we'll see what happens next week. I think if we get another drop next week in the dollar, I'll be pretty confident that we've seen the highs. And this whole move up in the dollar was a gigantic head fake just to get all the traders positioned the other way before they get the rug pulled out from under them. And that's what I've been expecting. Also, gold. Gold today, after hitting record highs just about every day this week in terms of the euro or the pound or the Canadian or Aussie dollars and a lot of other currencies, gold was going up, and it came to within $10 today, maybe even $7 or $8 of an all-time record high. We got up to just about 2,790-ish. And that's about the record high, maybe 2791, 2792. So we almost got there. And in fact, gold closed today at 2771, or for the week. That's about $20, less than 1% below its all-time record high, up 2.3% on the week. So about the same percentage as the Dow. But again, record highs in other currencies. Silver was up 1.4% on the week, not as much as gold. And it's still below $31. I think it closed around $30.60. That's the buy. I mean, you can certainly keep buying gold. It's going to go higher, I think. But if you don't want to buy at the all-time highs, which is basically where we are in gold, now the chances are these aren't going to be the all-time highs for long. And so most people who buy gold are going to be buying near the record highs because gold's going to keep rising. But again, it's not gold that's rising. It's fiat currencies that are falling, and they've got a long way to fall. So therefore, the price of gold in terms of those currencies has a long way to rise. But silver is what everybody should be buying right now, I think. I mean, it's a steal below $31. I mean, I think 30 is a support. I mean, it can get a little bit below that, and we've done that. 29 and change. But I mean, this is, I think, about as good as it's going to get in the silver market. People should be buying it.
In today's news recap, gold glitters near record high levels after Trump's comments. Gold prices rose nearly 1% on Friday, lingering near record high levels scaled in October, steered by U.S. President Donald Trump's calls to lower interest rates and uncertainty surrounding his trade policies. Spot gold rose 1.1% to $2,784.82 per ounce and was up 2.8% for the week. Prices are at their highest since October 31, when they hit a record high of $2,790.15. Gold's move towards a fresh all-time high has coincided with a correction in the dollar, which is lower following remarks by Trump that suggest he may go soft on tariffs and settle for a trade deal with China, independent analyst Ross Norman said. We see gold is likely to hit $3,175 during 2025. On Thursday at the World Economic Forum, Trump said he would demand that interest rates drop immediately. In an interview with Fox News, Trump said he would rather not have to use tariffs over China. Zero-yield gold is known as a hedge amid political and economic turmoil and tends to do well in a low interest rate environment. Trump's remarks come before the Federal Reserve's meeting next week, where the policymakers are widely expected to leave rates unchanged. Now we'll show you the best clips of the latest interview. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss out our daily recaps, and check goldsilverstacks.com to get your Stacker's Handbook, the ultimate guide to stack gold and silver, packed with strategies to trade the gold-silver ratio and get more ounces and build wealth over time, so you don't have to rely on market commentators to make your investment decisions. Enjoy the episode.
The market's going to explode, I think. I mean, I think we're getting ready for it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's paying attention to it. But the fundamentals are great. Certainly, the gold stock investors are not paying attention to it, even though the gold stocks had a good week. Finally, the GDX was up 4.4% on the week, and the GDXJ was up 4.75%. So a solid week. But if you consider where they are, this morning, these stocks needed to rally 18% to get back to their highs from October. That's like 3 months ago. And even with today's rally, they're still 17, 16 and a half, 17% rise from here to get back to where they were. when gold was the same price as it is right now. I mean, gold is in a huge bull market, obviously. We're hitting record highs in every currency. We're about to hit a record high. I'm pretty sure that we'll hit a new all-time record high next week, if not on Monday, Sunday night. So record highs in gold. That is a bull market, right? Bull markets keep making record highs. The gold stocks are all in bear markets, right? They all dropped more than 20% from their highs, and they haven't recovered. So they're still in bear markets. So you have gold at all-time highs in a huge bull market, yet you have the gold mining stocks that should be the primary beneficiaries of the gold bull market, and they're all in bear markets. What does that tell you, right? Investors have got everything wrong, right? They're buying what they should be selling, and they're selling what they should be buying. They don't understand this gold rally. And in fact, because the dollar has gone up over the last 3 months, even with the recent decline, that means these mining companies are even more profitable because the increase in the price of gold is bigger because the gold companies operate in Canada, right? They operate in Australia. Their operating profits have really gone up because their costs are in Canadian dollars, right? But their revenue is in US dollars. So they're more profitable and the prices are lower, right? So this is, I think, going to end up being the biggest bull market that we've ever seen in gold. Probably bigger than what we saw in the 70s, which is, a tough act to follow. If you recall the 1970s, when gold went from $35 an ounce to $800. So I'm talking about something that potentially is going to be bigger than that. But the biggest bull market in history, accompanied by the most skepticism, the most bearishness. There is no greed. Gold's at a new high, and gold stock investors are scared to buy the stocks, right? Every time gold goes up, they think it just means it's about to get killed. And so that, I think, is a very good sign for the longevity of this market. But it also just shows you how few investors really understand what's going on here. I was looking at some of these statistics just on the U.S. market and where it is. So the S&P, or U.S. stocks, represent 67% of the total world stock market. Think about that. We're one country. We got 4% of the population. And our stock market is 67% of the value of all the stock markets. Now, that might be justified if we were that productive, but we're not. I mean, we're productive, but not on that scale. So world GDP, we're only 26%. Now, I say only, that's still a lot. We're 26% of world GDP, but our stocks are 67% of global stock market cap. That is a bubble. That doesn't make sense. Now, if you drill down into the GDP numbers, if you look at manufacturing, which I think is the most important part of GDP, because a lot of the services are a bunch of fluff and government and stuff like that, we're 16% of the world's manufacturing. Now, that's still a lot. We're 4% of the people, and we manufacture 16% of the stuff. But that doesn't mean our stock market should be 67% of the global stock market. But even though we, produce 16% of the world's stuff, we only export 8% of the world's exports. That's not that much. Now we're down to 8% of global exports is America. We're 13% of global imports. That's the problem. We import 60% more than we export. That's unsustainable. That's the bubble. That's, again, and I'll get into Trump and his speeches, but that's what he doesn't understand. He thinks that the world is taking advantage of us. No, we're taking advantage of the world.
So what do you think of today's episode? Do you agree with Peter Schiff's prediction that gold will hit fresh all-time highs next week? Are we on the verge of seeing gold break through its previous records, or do you think it's all bollocks? And what about silver? Where do you see its price heading in the short term? Drop your honest price predictions for both gold and silver in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now watch this video right here because it's a perfect fit for you, and I'll see you on the other side.